Hi, good morning, everyone. We'll start in 2 minutes. Okay, let's get started. So yesterday, we got a chance to see what is, what is macro, what is the language, right? Which language we use here in macros? VBA language. Perfect. So today we'll see step by step how to use macros, how to create the macros. It's not just only about recording the macros, you will be able to write the macros. Okay. Recording, anyone can do, but there are certain limitations with the recording. Recording can only do a few static things, but if you want to do dynamic things, definitely you will have to learn how to write the macros. As I mentioned earlier, we can also use ChatGPT to take the help of coding. And coding part, yes, we can take the help, but analyzing it, understanding it, we should be able to do it on our own. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Right. So let's start with this basics of macros. Before we get into the subject, let's try to understand what is the object model of Excel. And we do the same thing. We discuss the same thing in Excel as well. What is the object model? In the object model, the very first object, what we see is application. Okay. Inside Excel application, what do we have? We have workbooks. Inside the workbooks, we have worksheets. Inside the sheets, we have range charts, control shapes, pivot tables, so many other things. But remember this, the very first object that we are going to work with is Excel. Inside Excel, workbook. Inside workbook, worksheet. Inside worksheets, we have range charts, control shapes and all. What is an object in Excel? Right? Anything and everything is an object. Right? You see, Excel application itself, you can consider this as one object. Inside this, when you open a workbook is one object. Inside that, you have a sheet is an object. Cell is an object. Chart is an object. Shape is an object. Picture is an object. Pivot table is an object. Each and everything is an object, okay, in this programming language, VBA. Okay, so each and everything is an object, including application itself. Excel application itself is an object, right? So what is an object in Excel? Anything and everything. Be it Excel, application, workbook, worksheet, chart, range, control, shape, picture, whatnot. All these things are objects only. Then fine, using these objects, what is that we can create? We can create macros using these objects, right? What is a macro? You get a question. Macro is a program. Macro is a program. You know, every program is designed to do something, right? Instead of we doing it manually, we can program it. Program is set of instructions. Okay, program is set of instructions. So basically a macro is a program with set of instructions. So why do we create these macros? We can automate, you know, certain number of tasks, right? Yesterday I showed you one example how to automate, you know, that data segregation. One file is there with so many customer files are customer names are there, and we were able to split the data into customer names. Each and every file we were able to create, right? To create those kind of automation programs, we you know, design these macros. Okay, it's the simplest form of automation. Show a software program the steps you follow to get something done. So basically, you create a program and there are steps we code, and what this program does, it simply execute all those steps to get some output. Okay. Let's say if your job is to every day you need to open one folder, and in that folder you have 5 Excel files and you need to open one by one, combine all the 5 Excel files into a single file. What is that we usually do as a normal Excel user? We manually do it, and manual process always takes some time and also quality issues. But with the help of macros, what you can do, you can automate that process, right? And moreover, as I said, to automate, you require a programming language, and you no need to come from the programming background to do this. Why? Because macros looks very, very simple. Okay. And when we design these macros, basically what is the advantage of these things? By automating them, you can save hours of time, you know, for all those repetitive tasks. Okay. Fine. So we understood what is a macro. Macro is a program and it is there to do the job on behalf of us automatically. Okay, great. So Excel macro is a program. Then what is Excel VBA? Okay, here we go. When we call something as a program, every program requires what? A programming language. A programming language. Here, What is that programming language we use? VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, VBA programming language. So VBA stands for Visual Basic for Applications. It's a programming language that enables you to control about everything in Excel. You can control each and every corner of Excel. You can move the cells here and there. You can move the charts. You can copy the charts. You can create the pivot tables. You can create a slicer or a dashboard or write any formula, whatnot. Simply, I can tell you one thing. Most of the times, whenever I take up any project, a question comes. We are doing all these things in Excel. Can this be automated using VBA? Right? We do that complex stuff in Excel manually, or we create so many complex formulas in Excel manually. Can that be automated using VBA? Nothing but Excel macros. Okay. Simple rule. Remember, if you can do it manually in Excel, it can be automated using VBA, be it anything. Okay. So you can control anything and everything in Excel with the help of VBA. Okay. If you can do it manually, the same thing can be done automatically. Okay. So actually, once you create a VBA macro, it's just not only about the speed, you also need to consider the accuracy, right? Both of them can be achieved at the same time using VBA. So anything and everything that you do manually can be automated using VBA. VBA, Visual Basic for Application. Then there may be one more question, like, I hear a lot about VB, VBA, VBS, right? What are these things then? Are they same? Are they different? Okay, understand that VBA, VBS are the variants from VB only, Visual Basic. Visual Basic is a technology from Microsoft. VBA, VBS also are the technologies from Microsoft only. They are the languages from Microsoft. But these different languages are there to perform different things. Okay, it's not, they are not same, but kind of most of the things, they sound very much similar among all these three languages, VB, VBA, VBS, very much similar. Okay, most of the things, they appear to be similar. Someone who learns VB can work with VBA easily. Someone who learns VBA can work with VB, right? That's how it is. So VBA is not to be confused with Visual Basic, because VB is different, VBA is different. Using VB, we can create standalone programs, okay? Standalone programs. So what is a standalone program and what is a dependent one? Okay. So using VB as it is a standalone programming, you can create different applications. Okay. Something like this. Let me show you a simple example on my desktop. There are different applications. Let's say Adobe Acrobat is there. If I want to open any Adobe Acrobat, any PDF, what is it I need to do? I just need to open this Adobe Acrobat and I can open this PDF files, right? So if I want to use any other application, just do a double click and I'll be able to use it. But when it comes to VBA, if you want to work with VBA, you want to automate something, you need MS Office support. Nothing but it is not a standalone one. It is a dependent one. On which application? On MS Office, it is dependent. Why? Because VBA exists inside MS Office. It's not alone. It's not a standalone programming language. It is a dependent one. Dependent on what? MS Office. If you have MS Office, nothing but MS Word, MS Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, all these applications, they have VBA in them. VBA. Okay. So if you want to write any Excel macro, you will have to open Excel first. Okay. You will have to open what? Excel. First of all, you need to open Excel and then you can create a macro using Excel. And where do we write that? There is a platform available. We'll show you shortly. But understand, VB is a standalone one. For VB, there is a separate platform to write these codes. But VBA is a dependent one and it cannot work without the Office applications. Office applications means MS Excel, MS Word, all these things are MS Office applications, right? Let's say, for example, VBA for Excel is part of an Excel program and cannot run without Excel. Let's say if you create one VBA macro, Excel macro, how can you execute that? You need to first of all open Excel. Then only you can execute that. Yesterday, when I showed you that data segregation, what is the very first application I had to open? First of all, Excel I need to open, and then I can click on the button to trigger that program. But most of the other things, they do not have any dependency on the other applications. They can run standalone. Especially the VB, you have a separate platform there and it's a standalone language and you can directly write, save that as a program and you can execute it directly. But when it comes to Excel macro, what is it you need to open first? Excel application you need to open. From there, you can trigger that file. Okay. And VBA is highly compatible with VB. Why? Because VBA is also a variant from VB only. Then we have VBS. It's also an automation language or the scripting language. This is widely used in the internet applications automation. You see the different VB scripting files, VBS files, VB script. Okay. So sometimes you get a question from the HR recruiters. We are looking for the macro developers. Do you know how to do VB scripting in Excel? Technically, this question is incorrect. Why? Because there is no VB script in Excel. There is VBA in Excel. All the MS Office products, what do they use? They use VBA, VBS. What if you want to create a, okay? So let me show you how I can create that. I'll just take a notepad, okay? And this one, test VBS, okay? I'll write a simple code here. What is it? Message box. Hi all, welcome to VBS automation. Okay, message box. I just created a script there. Okay, and I'll save it. Close this. It's in the text format, but let me just change this to VBS format. The extension, file extension. Then this will be converted as VBS file, a scripting file. That's the icon, okay? So what is the command that I wrote inside? Hi all something, a message box I wrote. So when I trigger this, it doesn't require any other application support. If I just do a double click, so you see that? Directly a small window is coming up. What is the script that I wrote there? Show me a message box with this message inside. That's it. Okay. So this is also kind of a standalone one, the scripting file. But when it comes to VBA macro, if you want to execute this, yesterday I showed you an example, like I wanted to split this, right? If you want to execute the data segregation, okay, what is the file that you need to open? First of all, you need to open Excel file. And inside that, you have the code. You have all these buttons and you can trigger that code from here. This is the code. Understand? Right? So, VBA is a dependent language. VB and VBS are standalone ones. Okay, they can be executed directly. Okay, then let's say if you do not have MS Office, can you execute VBA macros or not? If you don't have MS Office, no, not possible. Without MS Office, you cannot trigger or you cannot execute any of the VBA programs. Done? Right. Yeah. So VBA, VBS. If anyone asks, like, do you know VB scripting in Excel? What should be your answer? It's not so. It's an implement, maybe. Let's say if someone asks, like, do you know how to use VBS or VB scripting in Excel? What should be your answer? It is not possible to use in Excel. Why?
It is a standalone tool. VBA is a...
Okay, VBS is not there in Excel. VBS is not there in Excel, though the coding language looks very much same, but VBS is not there in Excel. What is there in Excel? VBA. But if the same question is asked by HR recruiter, do you know VB scripting in Excel? What should be your answer? Your answer should be yes. Yes, I know how to do the VB scripting in Excel. You know why? I'll tell you. Recruiters are not from the technical background, right? They only just follow those questionnaire, whatever they get. They simply ask, right? In their view, VBS and VBA or VB scripting and VBA, both of them are same. If you say no, they don't get into the technicalities, okay? They simply say like, okay, you don't know VB scripting. Oh, sorry, we are looking for VB developer, right? VB scripting knowledge and all, right? And they may say that. So your answer should be yes. But technically, there is no VBS in Excel. There is a VBA in Excel. Language is different. Of course, it looks very much similar. Most of the commands, they look similar. Okay. Is it fine? Right. Going forward, I'll be using a few words here, like the kind of synonyms, okay? There. A macro. What is a macro? Macro, sometimes I call it a subroutine. Sometimes I call it a procedure. Sometimes I call it program, right? Subroutine, procedure, program, all of them are macros only. They're macros. If I call subroutine, yes, I'm talking about a macro. If I call something as a procedure, yes, I'm talking about a macro. All these things are macros only. Okay, fine then. So if you want to enable the macro recorder, developer, first of all, we need to enable the developer to work with the recorder and all. Without enabling also, it's okay, but most of the good number of features that are related to macros available on the developer tab. So how do we enable the developer tab? If you look at this, developer tab is already there in my computer. But in your case, it may not be there. If you go to Excel in your system, when you open that and you may or may not find this developer tab. Okay. So how to enable that? This process is very easy. Let me show you. Just do a right click on the ribbon. Okay, right click on the ribbon. Say customize the ribbon. Okay. And there we have developer tab here, right? In your system, it's not checked. You just check it. Click OK. That's it. Developer tab will come. So in the developer tab, most of the things that are related to macro development are present here. Without the macro developer tab also, we can still create the macros without the developer tab. But why do we enable the developer tab? Because most of the macro related features are present in developer tab. Okay, that's the reason we enable this. A good number of things are there, security related, adding different kind of controls and all these things. Okay, fine. So we learned how to enable the developer tab. Just do a right click there, go to the customize ribbon and enable it. This is done. Now we are into the developer tab and we have different options there. The very first thing what we want to try out there is macro recorder. This one, record macro. Okay. So how does it sound, macro recorder or record macro? Whatever we do in Excel, step by step, in the background, it records it. Excellent. This is something like a voice recorder. What is a voice recorder? What does it do?
Same like
Records of conversation.
It records the conversation or the voice or the sounds. Similarly, macro recorder is the one. It records all the steps that we do and it translates all those steps into VBA commands and it records it like a program. Okay. So this is the best place to start your macros journey with the help of macro recorder. What does it do? It has a built-in macro recorder that translates all your actions into VBA macro commands. After you recorded the macro, you will be able to see the layout and the syntax before you record or write a macro, plan the steps and commands you want the macro to perform. You need to plan those steps. The reason being, if you perform any correction during the recording of the macro, even the correction steps will also be recorded. That is a challenge. Every action that you take during the recording of the macro will be recorded, including the corrections that you made. Okay. So let's see, how do we record a macro? There are some the steps there. I'll just take you through. You all need to do this today. Okay. Every day, at least you need to practice for half an hour, 45 minutes. Okay. All these codes, all these steps. So how do we record a macro? Just keep the cursor on any cell. Okay. Not on the A1. Okay. Keep the cursor on any cell. Click on record macro. This will ask, what is the macro name you want to give? Let us leave it as is. Okay. Don't change it at this point. And you have a shortcut. What is the shortcut here? I want to use a Control X as a shortcut. Okay. And then you have three options here. Do you want to record this macro in this workbook or a new workbook or a personal workbook? Let us leave it as this workbook only. I'll talk about what is this workbook. And description, you can write anything there. This is my first macro recording. You can write anything there. That's only for your understanding purpose. Okay. Fine, then click OK. Okay, done. Now, the moment you click OK, from there, the macro has started recording it. Okay. If you observe here, you see this, stop recording. Nothing but macro is currently being recorded. Now, from this cell, I'll perform a step. What is the step? I'll go to A1. I'll just select that. So I did one step. What is it? I selected A1. You see that in the background, this is how it is recording the codes. Okay. Done. So after selecting it, I'll enter 10 value there. 10. Okay. So after typing 10, I hit enter. Okay. This will take me to A2. So that means A1 value is now entered with 10 and A2 is selected. Two steps are done actually. Value 10 has been entered and A2 has been selected. Done. I want to type 20 there. Okay. If you want, you can just count the steps. From here, I selected A1, first step. I entered 10, second step. I selected A2, third step. I entered 20, fourth step. Now I selected A3, fifth step. You just count on, okay? 30, 40, 50. No, it's not 60. It should be 50. Select the range. Okay. Change the font name. Change the font name to Arial rounded empty. Right. I want to make it 14 size. I want to make it bold. Okay. I want to change the background color to, okay, bold. Yeah. Let's make it italic and also underline. Okay. Apply. We'll do that. Apply background color, yellow, red color font. Keep the alignment to the center. Also, finally, apply the borders. Okay. And last step is just simply select A1 cell, last step. That's it. You want to stop the recording. That's it. Done. Now, I'll just clear this off. If I want to execute that macro, now I have multiple options again. What is the first one I can do? Shortcut I can use. What is the shortcut I gave there? Control X. Excellent. Control X is the one. If I hit Control X, wait. Control X. Control X is a standard shortcut of Excel, right? It is meant to do what? Cut. But hold on. What did we do here? We assigned the same shortcut to? Correct. Yeah. It's the same shortcut we assigned to macro. Control X. Now I get a question. Tell me whether the macro will be executed or the cut will be executed.
Macro.
Whenever you assign a shortcut to the macro will be executed. If you do a control X, you see that? It got you the same output. Let me just clear this off. Control X again. That's it, right? So this is all good, and you understood, right? What happens whenever you assign a macro shortcut to the default shortcut, whatever the default shortcut is there, it will be replaced by the macro shortcut only. So macros will be executed, not the regular shortcuts. You understood, right? Done. So there is another way also. Let's say, we just clear this off. The business says, no, I don't want to miss my shortcut. Why? Because Control X is most commonly used. I cannot assign this to the macro because whenever I want to, just cut this range, whenever I hit that Control X, instead of cutting that range, what is it doing? It is, it is executing that macro. So I don't want to see this way. Then what is that you can do? You can assign a button to it. Let us learn that technique also. Very simple. Just go to the developer tab. Inside the developer tab itself, we have insert. The very first control is button control. Okay, it's a button control. Take the button control and drag and yeah. Now you take a look at this. Which macro you want to do? You want to execute macro 2 because macro 2 is the name of the macro that we created. Of course, you can rename it also. Click OK. Yeah, just now you have a macro 2 has been assigned to button 1. And if you just take it off, remove that name, and you can put the name as macro 2. That is a macro 2 that you want to trigger using this button. If I click this, same output, right? And just clear this off. And how did we get this button? Let me show you once again. Go to developer, insert. The very first control is the button control. Just select that and drag and drop. Drag and assign the macro here. That's it. Now, if I click on this button, macro will be triggered. So I don't want 2 buttons. I just want only 1. Right. And when you assign this button, you feel like, okay, this looks like a very classic old operating system button, right? You want to make it look a little interesting. Then what you can do, instead of taking the regular button from here, you can go to insert, shapes. You take a button kind of a shape. Okay. And you can also apply some effects there, maybe something like this. Right click, edit the text, and you want to trigger that macro to using this. Okay. Done. So if I click this, no, it's not working. Why? Because we haven't assigned the macro to it. How do we do that? Right click, assign macro. Which macro is it? Macro. You click OK. Now you click this. That's it. So that means in this process, what all we learned how to record the macro. And after recording the macro, we learned 3 things. What is it? One thing is executing the macro with shortcut. This is one way, right? Using the shortcut. This is one way. Button 2, shape 3. Right. Let me show you the 4th way also.
Sorry to disturb you, Kishore.
Yes,
Could you
please.
please one more time explain the shape one?
Just hold on a second. Can you be a bit louder, please?
Please explain how to do that shape one again. Third part.
Shape. Okay.
Third point.
We'll go to insert. We have different types of shapes there. And I can take any of these shapes. Select that. Right click. Assign macro. Assign the macro. To make it look like a button, you can apply different kind of formats there. And you see that when I hover the cursor, it turns into the hand symbol. It looks like as if you are clicking on some button, right? Like this. That's it. Is it okay?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah, fine. Now we learned 3 ways. There is a fourth way also. What is it? If you want to see the code, okay, we recorded the code, we were able to execute that code, and it's able to give us the output, whatever we expected. That looks good. But where is this code? This code is available inside the editor, VB editor. So how to check that? Very simple. In the developer tab, we have Visual Basic here. From here, you can launch VB editor, or you can use a shortcut. What is it? Alt F11. You see that when I hover the cursor, it's showing. That's okay. Alt F11, we'll be using it for multiple number of times. If you can remember today, great. If not, also that's fine, because going forward, we'll be working with that Alt F11 only. Okay. So go to that Visual Basic Alt F11, right? And you observe here, we have the book one, which is currently our book here, book one. And here you see in the project explorer, you see that book one, same book one. If you expand it, you have two things there. One is Excel objects, nothing but your sheets and the workbook. The next one is modules. Inside the modules, you may find different types of modules, but at this point, we have only one module there. Okay. If you do a double click there, you will get into the code. Okay. So this is a code actually running. What all are there? You have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. These are the values that you have. And different things are there. Okay. This is a code that has been actually recorded. And from here also, if I want, I can trigger the code. How do I do that? Let me show you. Go to editing. Okay. Clear this all. Go here. Show you with the help of run button here, how we can trigger the macro. It's the same macro 2. I just need to keep the cursor inside the macro 2, or at least on the macro 2 line, or here, any place I can keep the cursor. Okay. And here we have an option to run the subroutine, either by clicking on play or run subroutine or F5. Okay. Using either of the ones, you can execute the macro. So take a look at this. If I click on this, same. So that means from the VB editor also, you can trigger that. Either use the run button or F1. Okay. Is it fine? Now you know how the macro can be executed using 4 different ways. One thing is shortcut, one thing is button, one thing is shape. Yeah, the other thing is VB editor also. Done? Is it okay? Now you are comfortable? Right. What is the shortcut to launch VB editor? Alt F11. Perfect. One thing, you can launch it with the help of Alt F11, or otherwise in the developer tab itself, we have VB editor button. Just click that and it will take us to VB editor. Right. So in the VB editor, to play the macro, we have either F5 as a shortcut, or a green color play symbol is there. Using that also, you can play the macro. Okay. Is it fine? Done. So this is all looking good. I understand, Alt F11 is a shortcut to launch the VB editor, or I can directly go to developer and VB editor I can open. But how, this interface looks and what all things I need to learn. Okay, here we go. Let me just close all of them. Okay. When you open the VB editor for the very first time, this is how it may look. Though you have some codes and all, it may not show all the values. Okay. I want you to do something. All the online participants, just open Excel, hit Alt F11, and can you confirm in the chat window that you are getting the output like this? The VB editor should look with the codes and properties window, project explorer, all those things. But if it is coming like a gray screen, without showing anything. Yeah. Possibility is there. You know, the required windows may be missing there. So this is what we need to do. We need to focus more on two types of windows here. One is the properties window. The other one is a project explorer window. Two windows. Okay, they are like very much important. So if you get your, VB editor like this after hitting the Alt F11, this is what you need to do. Go to View. First of all, you need to enable the Project Explorer. So it will come like this on the left side. And then go to View, enable the Properties window. So that will come like this. Okay. So it should be like this. Okay. And after that, the coding window I can open by opening this module. Okay. I'll talk about what is a module and all. Now you see that it should appear like this. Okay. But at least these two, Project Explorer and Properties window, should be there first. As soon as you hit Alt F11. Done. This looks good. Right. Different types of windows are there. As we go along, I'll discuss those points. Right. In this VB editor, what are the most commonly expected things? One is the properties window. The other one is the project explorer. These two are needed. Okay. There are shortcuts available. It's up to you if you want to use them. F4 is the properties window. Control R is the project explorer. Okay. F4 is the properties window and Control R is the project explorer. Okay. You can use the shortcuts if you want. But that's all okay. I see that properties window, project explorer, all okay. But how do I get to see this code? Okay, so it may not show you the code directly. What is it you need to do? You need to go to your project. Each workbook is one project for us. Each workbook is one project. And if you go to that project and you have here both Microsoft Excel objects and modules, you need to go to the module. So what is a module? Module is a place where you write or record all your codes. Okay, all your codes, write or record all your codes. But in this case, we only just recorded the codes. You got a question like, we recorded and we are able to play it back. That's all okay. But I'm here to write the code. I'm not here to record the code, right? And you may be thinking that way. I want to learn how to write the code, not by recording and playing back. Because recording the code and playing it back, even a third class, fourth class student also can do. Whatever is there, that person can record. And if the person plays and it plays the same thing and it gets you that output, right? It doesn't make much sense there. Then how do we handle this and how to write these codes? Okay. This may not be possible on the very first day, right? This will take some time. But in our next session itself, I'll make you write the codes. You'll be able to write your codes. But before that, yeah, code window, immediate window, we'll slowly discuss these windows. Okay, there is no point discussing every window today itself. Okay. Okay, we'll anyways take you through all those things. Let's take a look at this. But for today, we just recorded the code because we wanted to see how the code looks. Okay, in that code, I want you to find out something interesting. Tell me how many different colors of codes you see here. Okay, how many?
Three colors.
Three colors.
Blue, green, black.
Blue,
Green, black.
green, black. Okay. Now tell me, actually, there is one more color, red. Red is not available here at this point, okay? Okay. But you see on the screen three colors, but there is a fourth color also. What are the four colors that we have? We have blue, green,
Black.
black. Perfect. And the fourth one is red. Okay. Can you guess what could be the red color? Error? Are you from the programming background? How did you figure that out? Like red is for errors.
Because that is always. They always dangerous.
Red is a danger symbol. That means something is wrong there. Yes, perfect. In VBA, red is for errors. In SQL, SSM, SQL Server Management Studio, red is a different thing. Okay, that is text content actually. But that's okay. You understood, right? 4 colors are there: blue, black, green, red. Red, anyways, you know that. What is it? It's for errors. What is blue? Blues are system reserved keywords. You cannot use them for any other purpose other than what they are meant to do. Okay. Other than that, you cannot use those keywords in any other place. If you are writing a sub, there has to be a specific reason. Okay. So every blue color command is a system reserved keyword and it is there to do certain activity. You cannot randomly use them. Okay, that is blue color, system reserved keywords. The next one is black color. What is black color? Black color is the user code. What is this user code? User code is the one, whatever we want to do using that macro. So if you see all these things, they are like in black color. What are they? You want to enter a value in A110, A220, A330, and so on, right? This is our user code. So blue color is system reserved keywords. Black color is the user code. Green color are comments. Green color are comments. Comments are nothing but they are non-executable codes. What is a non-executable code? You can't execute that. It is only just for our understanding purpose. We write that code, but it is not going to execute it. Okay. So if you look at all these lines of codes, they are in green color. Observe that. So why we have the green color there? They are non-executable codes. You cannot execute them. And I think you see a common thing for all these comments, the green color ones. What is the common thing that you see there? Exactly. All these comments are starting with a single quote. So if you put any of the line, starting with a single quote, if you keep a single quote there before any line of code, that turns into green color. What does it mean? That turned into comment. What is a comment? Comment is a non-executable code. Okay. Comment is a non-executable code. There you get a question. Why do I need to keep a non-executable code inside a program? Program is there to execute something, right? But here's the point. When you keep the non-executable code, it means it is meant for a commentary. It is meant for others to understand your code. You can write here in this macro, okay, we have typed values from 10 to 50 and formatted them. So if whenever someone sees this code, they can easily understand, okay, this macro is designed to print 10 to 50 values and also format them. So that is the purpose the developer created this macro. Of course, here it is a sample macro. That's the reason I just simply put 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 values there and we applied some formatting. But if it is a real-time program, you need to clearly mention what is the purpose, right? That particular block of code, 10 lines of code, 15 lines of code, we create the comments so that even if you leave the company, someone else joins, it's easy for that developer to understand what all you did, right? That's the reason it is always recommended to write the commentary in the program. Okay. And all these comments, they start with what? Single quote. You can also use a keyword, something like rem here. Rem is a keyword only here, but of course it is to make something into comment. That's the reason everything turns into green color. Either you can use a single quote or you can use rem. It's up to you. But my recommendation, use a single quote. So using the single quote is easy. Okay. Now you know 4 colors. Blue is for system reserved keyword. Black is user code. Green is comments. Red is errors. Okay. Are we good? Done. I have a question here. I think I asked you to, at the time of I was recording the macro, I asked you to just count the steps. Anyone counted?
So much from 9 to 10.
How many steps we did? Maybe around 20, 25, if I'm not wrong. Max. 20, 25. Okay. But those 20, 25 steps, if you look at this, you know how many lines of code got recorded? 113 lines. 113 lines of code got recorded, right? Definitely you get a question. Like just to get this simple output like this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? I need to do what? I need to execute a program that is triggering 113 lines of code to get this simple output. Okay, to get this simple output, if the 113 lines of code to be written, what if it is a complex requirement? How many thousand lines of codes do I need to write? You may be getting this question, right? And you feel like, I don't think it is a right idea to learn macros. Let me stop it. I thought like it can do so many miracles, but in the reality, it is actually putting me into much more trouble. So I think I feel like it is happy for me to manually go ahead and create all the reports. Hold on. This is the disadvantage of a macro recorder. If you are recording a macro, it unnecessarily records so many lines of codes, even though they are not adding up any value there. Okay. So what is that we need to do? You know, if you just record a macro, it unnecessarily records the codes, and it has some disadvantages also. Logical related things, a macro recorder cannot record it. Repetitive things, nothing but a loop kind of a thing, a macro recorder can't record it. Right? For all those things, what is it we need to do? We need to learn the coding. Okay, we need to learn the coding and we need to write it on our own so that whatever the 20-25 steps I did, that can be achieved in 20-25 lines of code. You no need to write 100 lines of code. So actually, you can make it much more simpler also. Even though you need to repeat the same thing for 1,000 times, you no need to write the codes for 1,000 times. You write the code, in a loop actually to repeat the same code for 1,000 times. Understood? So I'm actually working on kind of a small project now. This is about generating the text files. Okay, I have some sample data, and from Excel, it needs to generate a text file. I think looks like that output text file will be entered into some ERP system, because ERP that requires a text file with a particular space separator or a comma separator. Okay, so from Excel, they wanted to convert that into a text file, and there are certain conditions. Okay, so these kind of tricky things, you cannot achieve them with macro recorder. Okay, that requires a different skill. What is it? You need to learn VBA and should be able to write them. But today, what did we do? We simply attempted recording the code. If you record the code to change the font, okay, just to change the font, today you can do this. Take one blank file, start recording the code, type a value and just change only the font name. Stop the code. Just change only the font name. Font name, how many lines are needed? Very simple. Active cell dot font dot name is equal to Arial. If I do that, one line of code is enough to change the current font to Arial font. But you know what macro recorder does? It records these many lines of code. But actually, almost everything is unnecessary. Only this line of code is needed. Okay, this line of code is needed. Rest everything is not needed actually. Right? You can actually make this into a single line of code like this. Name is should be equal to Arial. Okay, so what is it you need to do? In our next session, what we are going to do, whatever the code that we have with 100 plus lines, we want to bring it down to maybe a 20 or maybe less than 20. We don't want to see these many lines, right? So what is that I should be able to do? I should be able to delete unnecessary lines of code. So can I randomly select a few and delete them like this? No, I need to be careful, right? While deleting them, which one is useful, which one is not useful. I should be able to take a call, and then after that, I should be able to, I can delete them. But if I want to read, understand, and then delete, right? What is it? One thing that I need to know? I need to learn how to read VBA. If I need to read VBA line by line, that means I should be in a position to understand VBA. Got the point? Yeah. This is what we are going to do in our next session. Today, you record as many as possible. Just record it, play it, assign a button, assign a shape, or trigger it with a shortcut, or trigger it with the F5 or a play button, right? You do all those things. try experimenting different things, assign the shortcuts, different things, open the file, copy the data, paste the data, and different kind of things that you do. In our next session, we will learn understanding the VBA fundamentals, what is object-oriented programming language, and then we learn line by line. Okay, there are certain concepts. Once we are good with that concepts, we should be able to easily write on our own. But at this time, we just record it and we'll try to understand the code and we customize the code. That's what we need to do. Right. Before ending the session, I have one point here. I want to save this file. Okay. Save this file. What is it I do? Go file, save as. Right. Yeah. Desktop folder itself. 697. I want to save this as macros training. Okay. That's a June 25. I have a question here. Can I save this file in XLSX format? Someone who completed Excel, you know it very well. Can I save this file in XLSX format? No, not possible. Why? Because XLSX extension is a macro-free
Macro.
workbook. You cannot
Yeah.
store macros there. Which extension you think? XLSM. XLSM is the extension that we need to use to save the macro enabled files. If you try to save it in XLSX, just in case, after creating so many macros, and if you try to save it as XLSX, okay, what it does, it throws a message saying that, okay, do you want to save this without this macros and all? No, I don't want to do that. I'll be losing the macros if I save it in XLSX. I want to save it in XLSM. Done? Can you all do that? Right? And when you open this file, let me show you. Of course, it is designed in my system, so there won't be any issues for me. But when you get this material from my side, okay, so I'll upload this material into Google Drive. From there, you can download it. When you try to open this file for the very first time in your system, okay, in here, let me show you that. Exactly here, this place, okay, above that, it will show a message saying that security risk. Okay, security risk. What is that security risk? Security risk is because there are macros inside this file. So macros, how they are security risk? Macros are programs. Using programming language, we can create virus programs also using VBA. So what is that security risk here? As it has some programs, it's not sure about them, okay, whether they do good or bad. So that's the reason they do not allow the macros to directly run, okay? You need to, first of all, fix that security risk issue. How do we do that? If you go to that folder from where you want to open these Excel files and all, just do a right click and go to properties. There is something here because it is designed in some other system. You will see unblock button, an additional button you will see, unblock. Okay, first of all, you need to click on that unblock. In my system, because it is not showing me, because all these files are created by me in my computer, I am the author of this computer. So it is not showing me anything. I'm the admin of this computer. So it's not throwing any error like that. But in your case, definitely shows a security risk when you open these files. I'll upload this material, download it. Okay, when you attempt it, it throws that message. So what is that you need to do? Close Excel file, right click, properties, go here, click unblock. Okay, done, save it. And next time when you open it, instead of showing a security risk, this time in the same place, it shows a different message saying enable content. Okay, you just need to say enable content. Just click that button. That's it. Your file will be ready and you will be able to execute them. Is that okay? Fine. Can you all do that today? Yes? Perfect then. So
How to know the virus?
virus is there or not, right? Okay, fine then. So that I'll show you in the upcoming sessions, whether it is really going to cause an issue or not, because you need to learn to read the codes, right? After that, you will understand. Okay, whether it is a virus or a normal program. Yeah, right. Okay, are we good so far? Online participants, is it okay, everyone?
Yes.
What is the file extension that we used to save this? Excel?
Excel
XLS.
also, yes, sir. Excel.
Perfect. XLSM is the one. Okay. I want you to do one thing. Today, you do a small macro. You record anything. You record anything. It could be applying color or changing or borders or whatever. But I want to see a short video, maybe a 10 seconds video. What you need to do, you need to do the screen recording. Click a button. It should show me that output. Maybe a 5 to 10 seconds video. That's it. Can you all do that and post it in the group? Excellent then. So let's catch up in our next session. We'll soon update you, and if everyone is okay with tomorrow's session, we'll do tomorrow's session. Tomorrow is Saturday, I understand. We'll just check with everyone, and if everyone is happy, then we'll proceed with tomorrow's session also. Yeah. Great
Yeah.
then. So thanks everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Reach out to the front office for the material purpose. Okay. They will share the Google Drive link.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.